Straight ahead on 12 News, adults not giving up on getting a high school diploma. That's thanks to a new program now offered in Robbinsdale schools. Plus, a change for a college in Brooklyn Center, why it now plans to close. But first, a decision for the future. Golden Valley charts a path to replace its nearly century-old community center. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Planning is moving forward in Golden Valley to replace the nearly 100-year-old Brookview Community Center.
The Brookview Community Center is attached to the golf course clubhouse. It includes meeting space and room for events such as weddings. Cost estimates for replacement range from $9 to $12 million. However, a task force looked at an even bigger replacement option that would include many more amenities. That option has a $38 million price tag. Ultimately, the question comes down to what the city can afford.
The challenge here is that we're responsible for maintaining the financial health of this city and meeting all of the other needs that we're confronted with.
Councilmember Joni Clausen also pointed out the city currently has a debt load of $60 million. Mayor Shep Harris, meanwhile, has raised concerns about limited public input on the project so far. This week, the City Council approved the hiring of a consultant for $30,000 to start work on the pre-design phase and begin taking public input, which could happen in July.
A search warrant released this week provides more evidence in the case against the Crystal father accused of killing his son. Shows Pierre Collins wasn't forthcoming in providing electronic evidence. Crystal police had searched the Collins' apartment and retrieved knives, a passport, and a laptop found hidden under a couch. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension later examined that laptop and found that Pierre Collins had withdrawn $6,000 in the month before his son disappeared, resulting in a negative bank balance. Collins is accused of killing his son Barway to collect life insurance money. His next court date is scheduled for May 14th.
A Brooklyn Center man faces felony charges after hitting and seriously injuring a pedestrian on Brooklyn Boulevard. 32-year-old Cheng Seifong is charged with criminal vehicular operation after a breath test put his alcohol level at more than twice the legal limit. Seifong hit a man who was in the street. The accident happened after 1 a.m. Sunday morning. The victim is hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. The criminal complaint says the victim suffered severe bleeding in his brain.
News of the closure of Sanford-Brown College, formerly Brown College, is hitting some students hard on the Brooklyn Center campus.
I was pretty sad. I've been here for about 2 years now, and I've loved it ever since I came here. And all the staff and the teachers and everybody are so involved with all of us that it's not something that you get on the huge campuses.
The for-profit Career Training College announced it will stop accepting new students and eventually close all of its 14 locations nationwide. The Brooklyn Center site will likely close in January of 2018, allowing all of the current 180 students to finish their programs and graduate.
We've had years of declining enrollments and financial losses as a unit at Sanford-Brown. And the decision was just made that we're not going to support that anymore, but we do want to support our students and see them through to graduation.
The school was originally started in 1946 to train students in broadcasting. The school has graduated around 5,000 students in the state at its Brooklyn Center and Mendota Heights locations. Perhaps the most notable alum of the school, former U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel. Last year, the state of Minnesota created a third pathway for adults to get their high school diploma.
You can graduate from high school, get your GED, and now you can get an adult diploma through a new program. Reporter Shannon Slatton tells us about the pilot program now offered through Robbinsdale area schools.
So 2 times 2 is 4.
This math class is one of the only things standing in the way of Safi Abdullah having a diploma.
Getting a high school diploma will allow me to advance my education.
3.
She needs that diploma to go to college and get the job she wants, one in the medical field.
One of my interests is dental assistance or RN.
plus the 1 out on the end.
Safi is one of the first students to take advantage of a new state program
Negative 1/2.
that allows students to get a high school diploma based not on a single test,
Multiply, what do we got?
but on showing competency in 5 areas of study.
It's not a quick fix, but it's another option that's really useful for certain people.
Teachers say Safi is an ideal candidate for the adult diploma program. She already had college credit for an English class. She'd passed the science and social studies portions of the GED test. She just needed math and computer skills in order to get her diploma.
It's a very viable option for certain students.
Counselor Dan Woodbury works with students to see what credits they have and what they need.
It's really designed to help adults who have certain competencies but have never been able to have a diploma to show for it.
That one is 2.
The goal is helping students earn a diploma so they can move on and ultimately land the job they want.
I have learned a lot since coming here, and I'm happy.
In Golden Valley, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
The Robbinsdale Area Schools program is one of 13 pilot programs in the state offering this diploma this year. To participate, students cannot be eligible for K-12 education.
A longtime principal in the Osseo School District is named tops in the state for what he does each day. Mark French is Minnesota's 2015 National Distinguished Principal. French is the principal of Rice Lake Elementary School in Maple Grove, and he says he believes his positive attitude is infectious and he works hard to collaborate with staff and communicate often with parents. The recognition comes from the State and National Association of Elementary School Principals. Talk about being busy. We meet a Providence Academy student who caught the attention of Ivy League schools.
And then a little bit later in sports, the Hopkins softball team scores a big win to stay in first place in the Lake Conference. We'll have the highlights.
But first, the skies clear up, but it will feel cooler on Friday.
Gardeners couldn't wait to get their hands on the plants at this year's annual Hennepin Tech Plant Sale. And on opening morning, the checkout lines backed up through the garden center as people waited to buy a variety of plants for their gardens and flower beds. Instructors call this the ultimate learning experience for students because they grow the plants, prepare them for market, and then they help customers. The roughly $80,000 that's made at the sale goes right back into the landscape and horticulture program.
The money is really important because they get a real life experience, what it would be like in the real world at a regular job. So all the stresses, everything.
The plant sale continues on Friday and Saturday from 9 in the morning to 7 in the evening. The instructor says don't worry, they have plenty of plants. Some haven't even been put out yet. She is talented, athletic, and super smart.
Meghan Onserio is a senior at Providence Academy. She's in so many activities we may not have enough time to mention them all in this story, but she could also attend any college she wanted to. Sonia Goins has more on this week's Standout Student.
Up and down the boulevard.
Meghan Onserio is a bundle of energy.
I get to school at like 7:30, 7:45 in the morning, and I come home at like 10-ish, like 11-ish, and it's like time to start homework.
She's also very ambitious and smart. Meghan got into 5 Ivy League schools.
I got into Harvard, Yale, Dartmouth, University of Pennsylvania, Wharton, and then Princeton as well.
She wasn't expecting to get into all the top schools.
I was kind of shocked. Like when I got into like all of them, I was like, me? Like, I don't know, I didn't think I was anything like terribly special.
Her list of accomplishments and activities would make anyone tired.
I like a plethora of stuff.
She's a member of the National Honor Society, Student Council President, and peer tutor.
She's definitely special. It's not one single thing, it's that wherever she jumps in, she jumps in.
Meghan also started the speech club at Providence. History and calculus are her favorite subjects.
I like to solve problems.
She's also a talented actress and singer.
Just a small town girl.
The small town girl from Maple Grove is also on the Spirit Squad cross country, and soccer teams.
Yeah, I did soccer for a few years and then I switched to cross country. Of course, I'm Kenyan. You got to try that at some point.
Meghan also finds time to volunteer. She recently went on a mission trip to the Dominican Republic.
I helped with like a vacation Bible school that we ran there.
She's not afraid to think outside the box, and she says her faith in God is key to her success.
It takes a lot of courage to kind of step outside and try new things. And when I do that and I try new things, I found out that that's where I have a lot of my success in.
Don't stop believing.
In Plymouth, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Meghan committed to Harvard last week. She's thinking about going after a double major, government and theater and dance. Going to Harvard.
The passion.
Oh, yeah. Coming up, how Cooper students and Honeywell employees from Golden Valley are making the Twin Cities a better place.
But first, we get set for the fishing opener with pro angler Terry Tuma. Jay Wilcox steps in next.
Jay Wilcox with sports. You can hold a team in check for a while, but once they break through, if they break it wide open, it's over.
Things can change in a hurry in a baseball game, that's for sure, and these teams found this out. The Totino-Grace baseball team lost to Maple Grove to start the week, so the Eagles are now tied for first in the Northwest Suburban Conference. They look to bounce back when they played host to Osseo. This one scoreless in the bottom of the fourth. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Tanner Winslow sends a fly ball to the gap, but a great diving catch by Osseo's Stephen Fisher to end the inning. In the bottom of the fifth, Grace does break through, though. Hunter Lindquist base hit scores Max Meyer, and it is 2-0 Eagles. 2 batters later, Jen Radicek rips a hat past the shortstop to bring home Jack Hemseth for Grace. Same inning, and Winslow will golf the low pitch to the right field fence, scoring Tanner Rymanowski and Dan Roney, and it's 6-0 Totino-Grace. The Eagles aren't done. Ben Mazinga's fly ball eludes the Osseo outfielder, allowing 2 more runs to come home, and it's an 8-0 lead on the triple by Mazinga. Grace goes on to win at 8-1. The Eagles are at Park Center on Monday. Though they've had some ups and downs in non-conference play, the Hopkins softball team leads the Lake Conference standings. Mark Peterson's Royals aiming for a season sweep of Wayzata. Emily Ice drills a hit to right center for Hopkins in the bottom of the first. It scores Kelsey Kleist. The Royals get 2 in the first. To the second inning, and Kleist drills a hit to left to bring Michelle Gunther home. That makes it 3-0 Royals. Next batter, Jessica Krauser singles up the middle, and this scores Kleist. Hopkins hits the ball well all day. They're up 4-0 through 2 innings. In the bottom of the third, Gunther will smack a single to left to score another run. The Hopkins lead grows to 7-0 after 3. The onslaught continues in the fourth as Brenna Falk crushes a 3-run home run to right center 1 day after hitting a grand slam for the Royals. Meanwhile, pitcher Lauren Fagler mows down the Trojans, allowing just 1 hit in 5 innings. The Royals cruise to an 11-0 win. Minnesota's Walleye opener at 12:01 a.m. Saturday unofficially launches another season of fishing here in Minnesota. John Jacobson talked to Terry Tuma about the opener and how the mild spring has anglers excited to fish.
We've had early ice out, and it's been pretty mild, and they're talking a nice mild weekend coming up. So it's going to be, I think, a very, very good opener. There's going to be, not for the people only fishing with walleyes, but with any other species fish, like the bluegills and the crappies, of course, and then of northern pike. So we're going to see a lot of activity on the lakes this time.
Especially compared to the last 2 springs, temperature in the water is warmer. But water levels are down overall in most lakes in Minnesota. How does that affect early season walleye fishing?
A lot of questions asked about that this year, John, especially with the warmer water temperature. We were up on the river and we were fishing this last week, and the water temperature is quite a bit warmer than normal. It was right around 57 degrees, which is really warm, and we're going to see our inland bodies of water warming up probably close to 60. And so that means that these fish are going to be, generally speaking, right now they'll be in their post-spawn. On some of these lakes, they'll be at the end of the post-spawn, which is going to be providing a very, very good bite. Then besides that, with baits, this year you need to take leeches and crawlers with you because of the warmer water temperature, not just the minnow, with the fatheads or with the shiners and so forth, the red tails. I would definitely take leeches and night crawlers this time.
One thing I know you always suggest when you're going to a lake, whether you've been there before or not, is to ask a reach owner or bait dealer or someone what to expect there, right?
Yeah, it really is important, and I think really what it amounts to is have some sort of a game plan. You know, if it's a lake that you're familiar with, pick out 4 or 5, 6 spots, only that many. The biggest issue, if you are familiar with that body of water, do not pick out or do not say, well, I'm going to fish here, then I'm going to fish here. All of a sudden we get too many spots, we can't fish it intelligently. We're not searching it enough. And if it's a new lake, we definitely need to get a map or, talk, like as you mentioned, talk to a resort owner, a bait shop, or some local people, and do a little bit of homework before we launch that boat.
Thanks, Terry. The governor's fishing opener is on Lake Vermilion this year, so getting to be that time. Looks like it should be a pretty decent weekend.
Thanks, Jay. On a dreary day, optimism was bright for several Cooper students.
How they chipped in today to make a difference in the Twin Cities. We'll be right back.
Any development project requires a combination of time, labor, and materials.
Those things can be expensive, but thanks to a group from the northwest suburbs, a St. Paul neighborhood received a major overhaul free of charge. Delane Cleveland explains.
They're just trying to clean up the environment, so it's just a little bit cleaner.
More than 22 miles from Cooper High School, a group consisting of 100 volunteers from Cooper and Golden Valley-based Honeywell
Definitely outside doing this rather than in school.
toiled away on a gloomy day to make this St. Paul neighborhood brighter.
So you guys just gonna pick these up now, or?
Cooper's senior Tia Zhang was one of the students showing her selfless side.
It's just really amazing to know that we can actually give a helping hand to the community. It's not just my community or their community, but we're all together as one.
The mission of these volunteers was to revitalize a park by doing landscaping work and installing basketball hoops.
I need about 4 of you to come with me.
While down the street,
It's just a good feeling, helping the community.
another group labored in the mud to create a neighborhood garden.
Working with the community here and working with the park brings beautification, brings culture, brings a rising infrastructure for the whole town. Just makes everything that we do better.
The organization Rebuilding Together Twin Cities helped organize the project, while Honeywell paid for the necessary materials. This is the 4th year that Honeywell has joined with Cooper for these community service projects, and it's a relationship that they don't see ending anytime soon.
Yeah, we've done these projects for several years, but once we integrated Cooper High School into it, it brought it to a whole new level.
While doing these projects, the Honeywell employees get to teach the students a few things about life beyond high school.
We have a great future as long as these kids continue to work hard and do great things.
Great things where, in this case, a St. Paul neighborhood will reap the benefits for years to come.
I just like that, as teenagers, we're able to change the world a little at a time.
In St. Paul, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Honeywell donated more than $10,000 to buy the topsoil, mulch, and playground sand to make that project a reality. The kids getting their fingers a little dirty today.
Certainly changed that site, that's
they
for
did.
sure.
That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us today.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. Community Corner is coming up next.